All right, cool. All right. Might have just timed out. All right, that's good. All right. Going, and here we are. All right, cool. All right, here we go. Let me share my screen with you. And again, you all are going to have to forgive your brother because I did something today that I promised myself I wouldn't do, but of course, knowing me, it just happens. So I was supposed to share with the group. Okay, I was supposed to share with the group what was next. And I did not share what was next. Here's what's next. What's next is the book of Shoftim, okay? Or the part of the scroll called Shoftim, which means judges. Write this down for your record. I know you guys are scholars, you're already up on it, but just in case you didn't know, here it is right here. Okay, Isaiah chapter 51, 12 through 52, 12. Looks like just the reverse. That's interesting. 51, 12 versus 52, 12. Okay. That is your Haftarah portion that's assigned to this in particular Torah portion. That's talking about Judges. Judges be 16, 18 through 21, 9. Okay. So that's what's next for us. Okay. As a community. So pardon me, I didn't get a chance to send that off. All right. Let's go ahead and look at what we got here. Plain and simple. All right, here we go. All right, so last week we went over the vocabulary. We had a really good time doing that, brought us some understanding. Today we're going to be discussing rule number 24. And I'm going to explain some things to you as if I'm, talking to myself. I've been studying this language for some time, and what we found is that there's a lot of what they call forms, F-O-R-M-S, forms, okay? Like what you have, the semi-coup form. I don't expect you to remember the name. Just remember there's the rules, okay? And what a form is, it means it's it's how the actual word would be voweled, okay? And the voweling means how they're going to use the vowel points. So for example, and of course, when we get into our next book, you're going to be able to understand this a lot more. One of the things I do and I don't like about this book is that I have several books that I learned from, okay? But this book, they don't really go into details about the actual grammar. And I said, okay, that could be a problem. But then when I go back to read my grammar book, I can see why they don't go into the grammar. Because sometimes the grammar can be a little overwhelming, going to be confusing, and it can actually take you down where you're not interested in learning. This in particular book that we're learning from was designed for children. Children, okay? That's what they designed, and it's taught at these monastery schools for children. So I know if the kids can learn it, we can learn it, right? So the form that they're talking about is the way that is voweled. So what is voweled is voweled with this. These are the vowels. So they got the kamats right there, and then they got this wa right here. That's right here. So here's the kamats right here, and here's the wa right here. All right. So when it talks about this form, they're saying how these vowels will appear under a certain root. Okay. So this form, this makor form, voweling, okay, will be the same way that is voweled under makor, will be exactly the same as shamor. You see? So the letters change, but the vowels are still the same, which is an what they call it, colmates, and a colomwa, okay, which is this O sound. Those are the two vowels, and that's all they're telling you. And they're telling you when you see these two vowels underneath this 3-letter root that they insert these vowels into is going to give you the same meaning, ing. That's basically what they're saying. Okay, so the word shamor, okay, before we put this O right here and we put that right there, it would just be shamar. But when they put shamor, okay, it goes from guard or he guarded to he's guarding. Okay, so the O in this vowel right here is letting you know that that is what they call a participle, something that's currently going on in the present tense. He's guarding. So what can we take away from this? Well, we can look at it and say, anytime you hear the O sound, like sha more, you will hear that or, okay? Or za kor, that O sound. That O tells you that it's an ing. If you see it, you know, oh, that's an ing. So then it automatically should make your brain say, well, if it's going on, it could be presently going on at the moment, okay? Or it could be in the process of being completed or going on, okay? In a moment, in which we went over, which is called a present tense perfect. So they got all these different rules. But the bottom line is the easiest thing to remember, because I'm only interested in teaching you easy things. I don't want to make it complicated. This sound right here gives you this right here, ing. So it doesn't matter what the verb is. It could be a shin and a mem and a resh. Okay. As soon as you put that O in there, right here like that, boom, that is guarding. Okay. So let's do a little thing right here. Out of this word right here, zakor, what would be the sound or the name of the verb if I took that O out of there? That O sound, what would it be? Just say it. So one zakor, the other one will be zakar. Okay. So let me help you understand something. When 3-letter roots like there's zakor here, when they are just 3 letters like that, it's always going to be an ah sound. It's always going to be like that, zakar. Okay. When it is shamor, or excuse me, shamar, it's just going to always be this. Okay. It's a sha mar. Okay. So all 3-letter roots, when they're what they call in their perfect form, okay, means nothing's added to them, nothing's put in the middle of them, nothing's put in the front of it, nothing. Okay. It's perfect. Third person masculine singular. It's always going to be a ah sound, a zakar, a very simple way of something happening. Okay. And our next book is going to help you understand this a little bit more. My point to tell you is that they only insert this O sound here, okay, in order for you to get the ing. Okay. So when I look at this word right here, zakor, I know that the root of it is a zadi, excuse me. Yeah, zadi and a kaf and a resh. I know that's a car off the top. I know that off the top. Okay. And when I put that O in there, I know, okay, that's an ing. That's basically what you want to understand. Okay. So we understand this now, right? Now they're going to tell us something though. They're going to say something about there's 2 more ways, which can be confusing because you're like, okay, well, that's present tense, that's ing. So why do we need to do more? Well, this is where I don't like about this book. They don't explain to us why. They don't explain the why on a lot of this. They just say, hey, we'll ask for Hashem's help later on in the next book. Or they might say something like that. But I also get why they're doing it, because if they introduce too much information, it will confuse you and it will discourage you. It's just what it is. Okay. So what they're telling us here in example number 1 is this. They're saying there's 2 more different ways, 2 more ways that you can do this. So this is the first way with this ah and this o right here. That's one way, okay, of voweling, because that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with vowel patterns, okay? That's what we're dealing with. They're not asking us what does the aleph in the front or the kamats mean, but they are telling us that this ing is represented by this kamats and that wa. That's what they are telling us, to let us know that that is a present tense and is ing. So that's all they want you to know about that. But also too, they're telling us that there's another voweling pattern. There's 2 more. There's 2 more ways. So this is the first way, this one right here. Okay, that's number 1. Here's the second one right here. Okay, meaning the first to the addition of the normal one. So what they're going to do now, instead of you having the ah, instead of this being under the first letter, this in particular symbol, which is called a comates, instead of having them that underneath there, like up here, they said, we're now going to put these two dots underneath it, which is called a schwa. We're going to put that underneath it. Why? They don't tell you why. They just tell you, they just want you to know that it's still guarding, but now we're going to do something different. Okay. We're going to put these two dots underneath. I know why, but I'm not going to tell you yet. Okay. So it says, please note that the forms sha, more, and sh, more often come without this. Sometimes it comes without, it's just a dot sometimes over it. And they're going to give us an example what that looks like. Right here. Right there. That's what they're saying. So the full spelling is right here on those words. Okay. It's a full spelling. But sometimes they will come with just a dot. It means exactly the same thing. So this right here is equivalent to just a dot like that. They both mean the same thing and they both have the same sound. So I would say right here, sha, more. Okay. Underneath here, what would you say?
Shamar.
Shamor. Oh, that O sound. Oh, shamor. Okay. Shamor. Sha. Sha. Okay. This one right here. Right here at top, it's sh, not sha. Sh. Sh more. Okay. And the one on the bottom, you say it exactly the same way. They look different. One has the dot on the bottom and the other one has this at the one on the top. That's the only difference, but they mean exactly the same thing. Okay. So what you can see here is that they're really trying to tell us that this wa will sometimes be in the word and other times that wa will just be represented by a dot and it still means ing. Okay. That's as simple as it is. Don't think too hard on it. You know, don't be like, oh, okay, you know, I don't know how to remember this. It's not for you to memorize everything. It's called repetition. So the more you do it, the more you're going to become familiar with it. The second way too is that instead of you having the ah, which is what they will call this form right here. And of course, I'm going to send the sheet to you. Instead of that being under the first letter, now you're going to have this pathak right here. The pathak, okay? And the P-A-T-H-A-C-H. What do you know about this word pathak? What does it mean? You learned it today. It means open.
Open.
It means open. Okay. So pathak means to open. So so I want to tell you a little secret. Secrets. Some of the secrets are revealed so you can keep the Torah. The secret to this is, you guys, is that they had used, whoever put this system together of the vowel point system and all these dots and all these kamats and pathak and quamates and all that kind of stuff. They named these marks after certain functions. Okay. So if I'm looking at this word right quick, this is beautiful. Okay. I'm gonna just write it up here again. This right here is called pathak. Pathak. It means to open. Okay. And here's the symbol. The letter what? Pay. Period. That's it. With a dot right there. Pathak. All right. When you look at this root right here, what's the first vowel underneath the letter Dalet? It's a pathak. Yeah. Pathak. So what is that going to tell you about that sound? Like what's the first sound that you would make?
Da.
Da. That's it. But because there's no other consonant following behind that, it's open. And what I mean by that is this. You see the three letters? Okay, you got this one right here, the dalet with that, right? This next one right here, you have a word, a letter with a vowel underneath it. But the next letter doesn't have a vowel underneath it. Okay. How would I say this bet and this two dots in the R sound? How would you, what's the sound there?
Bar.
Dog.
Close. Bear.
Bear.
Yeah, like bay, bear. Okay, so bear. Okay, so it's bear. That's how you would sound, bear. This has, this one right here is called, it's consonant. So I'm gonna write this direction so you can understand it. The first letter is a dalet. Let's just put a D right here, okay? The next sound is a ah, which is a vowel. That's ah, okay? So da, okay? All because I wrote it in the vowel, I wrote the vowel out so we'll know how to sound it, right? Check this out. The consonant is this right here, the D. The vowel is right here, right? So usually in Hebrew, it'll go consonant, vowel, consonant. Or, and then it might have another vowel, or it might be consonant, vowel, consonant. So when something is just a consonant and a vowel, right? This is what you would call open. That's open. When I put a consonant and a vowel and another consonant, that must be what?
Close.
Closed. Thank you guys. Start. Let's just go ahead and say it. So one is open. The opposite of that is closed. So this is just a consonant and a vowel. This is a consonant, vowel, consonant. The consonant, vowel, consonant is a closed pronunciation. It's closed. The reason, what letter closes it? In this word right here, what letter closes that bear sound?
The R.
The R is the resh. Exactly. Okay. So that's what closes it. So the CVC here is the D, B, R. And between those, you got vowels. So their first syllable is da. That's it. That's first sound for syllable, but it's open. Okay. Then I got bear. Okay. So there's some grammatical rules that go along with the open and close, which you and I are going to get into later. All right. Because I don't want to overwhelm you. I just want you to know that when you look at a Hebrew word, okay, and let me ask you another one so we can stay on this for a second, because this is very important. You look at this word right here, okay? What's the first letter in English?
S.
S what?
H.
SH, so that's sh, okay? Then you got the vowel underneath it, which is what?
A.
Okay, which is ah. Okay, it's a vowel. So sha, okay, so you got sha right there. Okay, SHAH, sha. In your mind, when you see this, you'd be like sha. Okay, now that is what you would call. Is it open or closed?
Open.
It's open. More over here, MOR. More. Sha, more. Okay, what is that more? Is it open or closed?
Close.
Thank you. See, so that's how it works. Okay. Here's another thing. Right here, same word. That's still a SH because it has a dot over the left-hand side right there. Okay. And remember, don't get that confused with this dot down here. Don't get that confused because in the shin, it can have a dot on this side or the shin can have a dot on this side. And one is what you would call a SH sound. The other one is a S sound. And this one right here is a SH sound. Okay. Sometimes, however, you have words that might have the S sound and then they have a dot supposed to go over and you can't see the dot because it's simulated into the dot that's over the shin. So you would never see it. But if you know the words, you would be like, okay, I know what it is. Okay. Let me see. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Perfect example. Who's that?
Moshe.
Yay! Yeah, you said Moshe. Yes, it's Moshe. So the mem, then the dot, that'll be right here. But of course, the shin would be exactly right next to it. And that's it, Moshe. You see? Did you need the three dots underneath it to remind you how to say it? No, it wasn't even there. It wasn't even present. So when the grammarians put this together and they wrote the vowel points, they only wrote them because they knew that over time, because the people were scattered and so forth, that they would lose the pronunciations of the language, and they knew people would lose it. They wouldn't fully understand it. You see, so they put the vowel points in. And as I told you last week, I think, or the week before, that the vowels are how many letters?
4,
Thank you. Because Yaakov had how many wives?
4,
4,
Yeah, he took 4 vowels, and that's all you got to remember. Okay, he took 4 vowels, but here in us is this vowel right here. Okay, those 4 vowels are his 4 wives. Okay, so what's the first vowel that is used? First letter of the alphabet.
Aleph,
Aleph. Yes. What's the next one?
it's the A,
Yes. Don't you stop. Your brain already knows it. Just say it.
Y, and the Yo.
Yeah, the wall and the yo. There you go. Get it. So it's, yeah, there it is. Those letters right there are what they would call the natural vowels. So before they have vowel points, they would have these letters. Okay. I'm gonna write a word up here that you know, Torah. Okay. So the first thing you and I would say is the T, the R, and the H are the consonants, and the other ones are the vowels. And that's not true. That's not true. The last part of the word Torah, this part right here, is the vowel, because it would be consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel. See? Torah, still open. Okay. You and I would never know that if you don't know the language. Okay. So there's words that have H on the end that tell you, you think it's just, it does mean, and I don't want to tell you it doesn't. The ah on the end of a word does mean femininity. They're using it as that, but it also has other meanings too. And so there, it's not as simple as we thought it was going to be, like, oh, that's just it right here. This means just feminine. He's just feminine. He's feminizing Amar, because Amar means that he spoke, and all he has to do is put that Amara right there, and boom, that's feminine. That's true. That's very true. But what you need to understand is that ah right here, that feminize it, is a vowel. I know I'm going to sound crazy, but here's the thing. In order for something to work, in order for the language to work, you have to have vowels. Okay. If you're in a relationship, you need the male and the female. The male he can exist. Okay. But he's no good without a vowel. He's no good without a vowel, because it won't be able to express itself. See? So even words that we have, they have vowels in them in order, okay, these vowels in order to what? So you can make the sound. I can have an N and a T right here, and it means nothing until I put a what? Until I put a vowel. I can make that into not. See? You can put something in there, or I take that out and I put another vowel. You see? So that's how it works. Okay. So once you discover that, hey, you know what? Letters don't mean anything without vowels. You see, you can have a male and a female together, but that's why Abraham and Sarah, he's like, hey, what good is all this? Yeah, I got a vowel, I got a wife, but what good is all this if I don't have any children? So remember, I told you that he had 4 wives. Yaakov had 4 wives. And the letters are represented by the Aleph, the Hey, the Wa, and the Yod. Any one of these can become a child. You have to add any of these to a 2-letter root in order for it to become a child root, your natural born child. How many children did Yaakov have? Children.
13.
13.
13. So how many possible vowels or children can a person have? 13 maximum. Okay. So let's just take, for example, let me see here. What word I want to go with? No. Okay. Oh, there you go. There is these two parents right here called two Hayes. Okay. This is a root. It's a parent root. Okay. And it means to exist. Okay. If I want to create a child out of this in particular, and it doesn't mean they're always going to have the double letter. It means they may not have the yod in it. They may not have the Y in it. They may just have these two kids. And it's the truth. It goes hey, a yod, and a hey. And that is called yiye, or excuse me, haya. Haya means to exist. So it shares the same meaning that the parents do. Okay, but this is a parent because there's two, and this is a child because it's three. Okay, I can then turn around and that same family can say, well, let's have another kid. And they do, and they put a Y inside of there. Hawa means it means to exist. That's what it means. It means to exist. It has the same meaning. You understand? So some of these vowel letters can be used with their parents, and they can create other words. Those words will be related directly to what the parents' two letters represent together, whatever they create together by coming together. Okay. So that's what Yah is talking about. All right. So I'd like to continue to remind you that this is about not just dots and dashes and stuff like that. It's about understanding what these little dots and dashes and everything mean. Okay. So off the top, just off of this right here, okay, we see that, hey, you take that Y out of there, then you just got the shin, you got the mem, and you got the resh. Okay. Well, is this a natural born child? Yes or no?
No,
It's not. Why?
it doesn't have one of the four.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It doesn't have one of those letters. So when you and I are looking at these letters and these words and these three-letter roots, off the top, you'll be like, no, that's not a natural born. So if they're not natural born, then who are they? Oh, you know what? That's an adopted root. So the parent adopted them. Okay. So in this case, if I took this word right here and I said, well, who's the parent, who's the father, and who's the mother? What would you tell me? Who's the father? What letter is the father? Going from this direction.
Shin.
The shin is the father. Thank you. And so the shin is the father. Who's the mother?
Yeah.
Mem. Okay. So the mem. You understand? So right off the top right there, you would know that's what? SH and then which be, Sham. Sham. And what does Sham mean? Sham means where. Okay. Like Shamayim. Okay. It means where. Okay. So when you know these types of things and you know the roots, and then they add this letter, this resh, you see, then you'd be like, okay, where? And I can say, well, where's the head? And if you get Shamar together, that means to what? You need to be somewhere. And where do you need to be? Oh, that's right. You need to be guarding. You see? So you look at these letters, you look at their roots, and you can derive what their meanings are and where's it come from. Okay. Just wanted to make that point to you that don't get discouraged when you see all these dots and stuff, because they just represent sounds and vowel points, that are there in order for us to remember how to say the word. All right. So again, the pathak basically means to open. So this right here is opened by that sound da. It's open. If it had a da and it put a bet on the end of it, that would be closed. But if it's just da by itself, it's open. It's just a ah sound, and it doesn't have anything behind it, a hard consonant. So it would be closed. Okay. Then he said the reasons for this, these vowel differences, as you see what they're going to say, is we'll explain with Hashem's help in the next book. They'll tell you some things, but they're not going to tell you all of it. And I understand why. But for now, when you look at this, you can assume that in all these cases, the translation is, because what we're really concerned with is what is it translated to? I know what the letters are. I know what shamar is, and I know what that O is. I know that's ing, shamor. See, so they're giving you these examples right here. Right here, same thing, same identical thing. Okay. But what's the difference between these two? Somebody tell me.
There's no commits on a second.
Correct. So you just found out that that's the other way that they're putting that into that form. What else do you see?
No wall.
Hmm. No walk, but you still have that dot over the mem. So that tells you that it's an O sound. So it's sh more, shamor. The other one is sha more. The other one is sh more. So you ask yourself, well, what's the difference between sh more and sha more? You know, they both are doing the same thing, but what is it? I'll explain to you what it is, you guys. Anytime they change a vowel, like the way that the vowels are underneath the word, and don't worry about remembering it because I'm going to continue to talk about it. Whenever they change something, a way that it looks, okay? And let me just show you an example. Anytime they go from like this, it's a shin, and then it's a mem, and then there's a resh, okay? And then it's like sha, mar. This is the way it's called an infinitive. We'll call it that. This is what they call a lexicon form, okay? This is what you will find in your dictionary when they express this word, a lexical form, or it's in your lexicon, okay? That's what you'll find, okay? It's a very simple way that it's happening, okay? It's a simple way. It's called its original origin, okay? Its original origin. This is what it's going to look like, all right? So it's not anything added to it. It's not having any emphasis on it. It's not being shamar, guarding in a very intense way. It's not being caused. It's none of those stems that I've been telling you about. This is in its very simple way of just, hey, guard. He guarded, okay? Because you know it's 3, so it's past tense. He guarded, right? It's very simple. And so that is what they call the very simple way, okay? Simple. And in Hebrew, they call it qual, okay? Meaning simple, okay? Qual, all right? So off the top, I'm gonna write another word. So that's shamar, very simple way. How do you say that? And that's a dalit, by the way. Shah.
Mod.
Shamad. Shema means to destroy. Okay. Shamar is to guard. Shamad is to destroy. Okay. This is in its very simple way. Simple. You know what's making it simple? And so all you got to remember is this right here. That's how I know it's simple. You see? So the next book that you and I are going into is going to explain even in more detail, like what these vowels, like what they mean. You know, that's a very simple, that first letter is simple. If I had just a dot on itself, that is a forceful way. Then the next one would be, you know, these 3 dots like here is causative, you know, or passive. It's all these different, they all mean something. So every root every three-letter root in its lexical form in a very simple manner will only have these two letters underneath them always. Okay. So when you see right here, you're like, okay, they added that and that. Okay, they changed the voweling. So anytime you change the voweling, you're changing what? If you change the vowel, you're changing the meaning and how it's and what is the action of it. You're changing the action. And let's give an example. I say call. Okay, call is to eat. Call. That's to eat. Very simple way. Okay. If I turn around and I says, you hear me say it, call, I could turn around and use those same three letters. And now I'm going to put this in there. I'm going to put a dot right here. And then what is it? Call. So I went from a very simple way of call. Okay. Clean up a little bit so you won't get confused. Forgive my writing. Now they're going to give it back again, clean it up. Okay. Call. This call. Okay. I can turn around and say call. Okay. The two dots that are here, and the one right here means something completely different than it means right here. So anytime you change the vowels on something, you're changing not the actual what you're doing, it's just how you're doing it. So if you notice in your mouth, you say that's different than Look at the shape of your mouth when you say Everybody just say It's very soft. Your jaw's not tight, your neck is not tight. The moment you say your lips got tight, your back, your sides of your neck, you can feel it in the back of your, that's so you're literally having to force the sound out. Versus you understand? When you yell at somebody, you don't go you go, hey. You start screaming. So the sounds, okay, that you hear send different messages. Doesn't it? In someone's tone, you can hear it. So in the Hebrew language, the vowel points are just telling you what the tone is. And whatever the tone is, it could be changed. It could be forceful. It could be very causative. It could be simple. It could be active. It could be passive. It could be reflexive. And that's all understood by what sound it makes. So the point is, if you ever have to change, if they ever change the sounds underneath a word like these, the sha more versus the sha more is because there's a change in something. There's a change in what they're going to be doing. Yeah, they're guarding, but grammatically, this means something. So here's what I'm trying to tell you. Any vowel differences or changes, they say they're going to explain later in another book. I'm not going to wait for that. I'm just going to tell you what it means, because when you get there, you'll be like, okay, this is what you did say. Any vowel changes mean that's going to change the meaning and how something is being done. That's all it means, okay? So if you notice, this means speaking. Da, bear. Oh, look, I'm writing backwards. Forgetting how to write, you guys. Da, bear. Okay. Da, bear. Why is it two dots, two B's?
That's that dot in there.
Yes. And the name of that dot is called a Dagesh Forte. Okay. Dagesh Forte. Why am I telling you this? Because he's the one who causes something to double. He's called the Geminate. He's like the Gemini, okay? That means a doubling up something, okay? But a dot in this doesn't always mean that is him, Dagesh Forte. It mean he has a brother, and his brother's called a Dagesh Laney. I'm just Talk in terms of family so you can remember. He has a brother, and him and his brother are twins. So sometimes you'll see a Dagesh Laney and you'd be like, is that a Dagesh Laney or is that a Dagesh Forte? They're identical. They're literally identical twins. Dagesh Laney, Dagesh Forte. See, so you got to find out, well, which one is this? And according to the text, it will tell you. So this is what Hebrew comes to be very interesting, because I'm using family and brothers and sisters and uncles and friends as my go-to, so you can remember. You will never forget Dagesh Lenny and Dagesh Forte are twins, because I just told you they're brothers. Things only mean something to you and I if you put it in something that you can relate to. You understand? It's very difficult for us to relate to letters when we don't have a relationship with them. That's what Yah is trying to teach us. Like, why do you think Yah chose to write his words down? Why did he choose to write them down?
So we can remember.
Mm-hmm.
To Zakar.
You're going to Zakar, exactly. But the reason why he wants you to Zakar, and he's always telling us to remember what he said, is because the way that you and I will ever have a relationship with him is through the words that he spoke. That's what he's, listen, before my brain pops out of my head and I lose my cool. Yah is only talking to people like us, his people, through words. You and I will never see him. Isn't that what he said? There's no one who ever set their eyes upon me and live. Nobody. He even told Moshe that I'm going to put you in a rock. When I pass by, I'll let you look at the backside, but you can never look at my face. You will never be able to see me. No human being will ever be able to see me. Okay. So I'm choosing to talk to my creation through words. So I want you to have a relationship with letters and words, because if you got a relationship with the letter, then you put those two together and you can see a family, you can see the process of that. And then you have a child and you can understand family. The Aleph Bet is the strong house. The Aleph, and I know there's no one out here teaching like me. I already know that. And I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you guys, revealed these things to me. The Aleph Bet, okay? That's what the language is. It's called the Aleph Bet. The Aleph Bet is a father, okay? And then you have the Aleph, which is strong. And then you have the Bet, which is the house. The strong house is built upon the father, but the father is the one who's going to give you the Aleph Bet. He's the one who's going to teach you through his words. You guys get that?
Yes.
So if you and I are not learning his words, then listen. And the people, I had 152 views on our last video from Hebrew 14, lesson 14. I'm hoping I get another 152 so they can understand this. If you and I don't learn this language, you and I will not fully understand what our Father has been saying. Isn't he wonderful? You see why you and I shouldn't rush? We should go through it, because all these things will be revealed. So what's the bottom line? Yah wants us to have a relationship with the words and the letters. And we do that by what? By our study and understanding. Reading it and stuff like that is not hard. That's not hard. That's not the hard part. That's not the difficult part. It's not. Vocabulary is not difficult. Memorization might be challenging, but the relationship is what you and I need to be after. Okay. So that's our lesson for today. I think that was enough for your brain. Okay. Any questions? You already have this. I sent it to you last week. I want you to focus on this a little bit now. Okay. And go back and just read it over again. And then you'll be ready for next week's. Okay. This lesson is going to take us a little bit. Okay. Lesson 14 is not, let me see if I can send this to you. You know what? I'm going to throw in an extra form right here, because you already went over to Semikuth and it talks about adding prepositions and stuff like that. Yeah, I'll send this to you. Okay. And then let me see if I can send this other one because that's not hard stuff. Yeah. Okay. I'll send you one. I'll send you the first one here, 120. Oh, you already got that. I'll send you 124 and 125. And that should be enough to keep you going through the week. Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right, you guys doing a wonderful job. Stay encouraged. And again, thank you so much for spending your time with me. I do appreciate you allowing me to be your brother and help you along your journey.
Thank you for showing up too.
Total
Bye-bye.
revive. Total revive. If y'all's willing, I'll see you next week.
Shabbat shalom.
Right, Shabbat shalom.